return as quickly as possible, okay? Could you call the roll, Shelley?
Mr. Kostelecki?
Here.
Mr. Austin is absent. Reverend Bailey?
Here.
Ms. Clymer? Here. Delegate Guzman is not here. Sheriff Hill?
Here.
Captain Laguna?
Here.
Ms. Lennox? Here. Deputy Chief Phelps?
Here.
Ms. Smith is not here. And Mr. Torres?
Here.
We have a quorum, sir.
All right, thank you, thank you. Sir, do we have any public comments for board members tonight?
No, sir, we do not.
All right, thank you. I need a approval of the agenda for November 16th, that is this meeting. Could I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
The amended agenda.
Yes, the amended agenda, yes. The amended agenda, yes, sir, thank you. Amended agenda, yes.
Second.
Any question? All in favor?
Aye.
And could I get a motion to approve the minutes? And that's also amended.
That's
On
amended,
page, the first one, it says on Wednesday, September, should be say September 21st at 6 o'clock, and instead of,
November 16th.
so
That's today's date.
today's date, right, see the wrong date, all right. But the correct
Ahead of
date should be September 21st. That was our last meeting, all right?
I'll
Can I
make
get a
that.
motion?
I'll make that motion.
Alright.
Second.
Can you get a second?
Second.
Open second, thank you. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, thank you. Like I said, Superintendent's not here, so I'm going to attempt to do his job tonight and help him out. I may call in for some of you to help me, but let's get started, all right? Vacancies, 78 sworn vacancies, 12 civilian vacancies, for a total of 90 vacancies at the Adult Detention Center. And of course, we have authorized 433 positions. HR staff has attended the following career fairs. 10/28/22, they went to a law enforcement job fair in Richmond. On November the 3rd, they went to Quantico career fair. On November 10th, they attended a veterans job fair at FedEx Field. They also participated in National Night Out. This event brings public safety and community together. Staff participated at 2 different locations, at Manassas Park and the Georgetown South community. The following staff participated: Captain Powell, Captain Barker, First Sergeant Suter, Sergeant James, MJO Melendez Campbell, MJO Finner, MJO Aliquipran, and MJO Alvarado, and Jail Officer Rawls. They also attended the trunk or treat at Manassas Mall. The photo in the back of the package of the staff at that event. The following staff participated: Captain Powell, Lieutenant Outland, Sergeant Suter, MJO Melendez Campbell, MJO Johnson, and Jail Officer Bielik. They also participated in the Boxes of Bases donation drive. The photo in the back of the packet of the candidates Dunn and Sarah Henley with the donations loaded in Mrs. Dunn's minivan. The Adult Detention Center Employee Association conducted a donation drive for the month of October to benefit a local nonprofit. Boxes of Basics collects gently used and new clothing and books for children, and creates boxes of basics with a week's worth of outfits based off gender, age, size, and provides them at no cost to the children. They are currently at their max capacity of providing 50 boxes a week to children throughout Prince William and Manassas. Sometimes they must carry off referrals to the next week. The child's information is referred to boxes of basics from community partners such as social workers, church groups, and even our schools. The employees showed overwhelming support and were able to fill the seating and cargo areas of Mrs. Dunn's minivan. On page 11 of your agenda package are the stats that the superintendent normally reports to everyone. I think the important stats that always pay attention to, perhaps the ones at the bottom. The transfers to the state, September were 3, and October the 22nd was 7, and commitments were 575 for September, and in October they were 548. Releases 581 for September and 548 for the month of October. On page 14 of the agenda is just the numbers that are accumulated throughout over the years that gives our averages for our historical data for the population at our complex. Every meeting, our superintendent reports on the status of the 2023 objectives. Of course, these are objectives that he presents to us. And when we do his evaluation, I always look at the objectives that he would present to us and report to you all in his evaluation how those objectives were accomplished. The first one, implemented additional strategies to increase recruitment and hiring of adult detention center staff. As I just mentioned, that the staff has been attending a lot of seminars to try to attract and hire staff. The Prison Rape Elimination Act PREA inspection is scheduled for March of 2023. Ensure for career training, development training. As you see, 36 staff completed supervisor in-service training. 11 staff attended a training course for new supervisors. 3 staff completed crisis intervention training. ADC has a total of 100 CIT certified staff now. So I think it's very good. Sergeant Hannah Baker attended a Virginia gang investigation course. That's good to hear because a lot of times when people are incarcerated, it's always good to have someone familiar with gangs so we can gather information and pass on to our police departments and gang task force. Monitor and development involving or impacting the main facility repairs project, which started in May of 2021. Estimate completion time is about 9 months. And they are preparing for major pipe replacement project. Any staff, y'all have any comments on those projects that are being worked on and completed?
I think the main repair project's completed.
Okay.
The pipe replacement, is in my report. We have an early estimate that it's around $1 million to get all the cast iron piping replaced in the first and second floors. We are having pipes burst. And it's time for them to be
Just in the
replaced.
main building.
Yes, we've had an investigation and they've done some testing, and so we're going to be going to the County Board of Supervisors to request money from the fund balance when we get a good solid number on the cost of that and set up a project budget for that.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I also participated with the evidence-based decision-making team through cooperation to enhance safety in the community and improve the criminal justice system while benefiting the adult detention center. Superintendent reports that EBDM initiatives include enhancing data processing and expansion of Medicaid assistance treatment for opiate users. The George Mason grant was initiated on October 26, 2022. Since 10/19/21, 699 boxes of Narcan have been given to inmates upon release. Another objective is to monitor and take action when needed involving COVID-19. Captain West, could you give us a report on the latest COVID
Sure can,
stats?
sir. Right now, we're looking really good. We only have one staff member out that's positive of COVID, and we have 0 exposures at this time.
Thank you. We still quarantine people when they come in. How are we handling that?
Yes, sir, we are still quarantining inmates. Once they come into our jail, if they've been vaccinated, the medical staff will verify that. Usually it takes anywhere 2 to 3 days to classify somebody. Once they verify that, they will let them go into general population. If somebody's unvaccinated, then we would have them quarantined for that period of time. So,
Thank you. Yes, sir.
It's down to 10 days now, right?
yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
10 days. All right. Thank you. That's all I have for the superintendent's report. Then again, if you have any questions, please give them to Sarah, and Sarah will relay those questions to the superintendent concerning anything that's in the topic or in the report that I just gave.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
you're asking us to write those questions to Sarah?
Yes, you can email those questions to Sarah, or you can give them to her tonight, and we'll make sure that superintendent gets them, as I said, and he'll respond to you when he returns to work. Okay. Or we have something that staff may be able to answer, we can take care of it tonight. All depends on what the question is.
I knew the superintendent, he had mentioned we did hire a Spanish-speaking teacher now for GED.
That's great. So I don't have to
All right.
keep
Thank you.
bothering him.
All right, thank you. All right, we can move on to, well, I think we'll go ahead and cover it. While we can, most of you was sent all the stats, and we'll just go through each page. A lot of it is historical data involving the adult detention center, involving commitments, releases, number of inmates that are in different facilities on the complex. I know on the 3rd page, you can see that the Marshall building closed in January of last year, and all the inmates are pretty much spread out through the facilities. How many people on work related? We just talked about how many people transferred to the state. This is just stats of how many people that have been transferred to the state in the last couple of years. A lot of historical data in these reports. And again, if you see something in these reports that jumps out at you and you want answers to, then again, give them to Sarah, and she will pass on the information to the superintendent, and he'll respond. All right, thank you. This is very important, our budget update.
Yes. On this page here, our commissary budget, again, very early in the year. No issues there. We seem to have settled around a $2.5 million balance in there, and that's what we seem to be maintaining going forward. And that's the excess funding that we have, or to support the budget and what is available otherwise. Nothing really to report. Our inmate television infrastructure, which kind of gives us control of the televisions, allows us to broadcast things to the inmates and communicate a little better with the inmates. That was delayed due to COVID, and we continued it from year to year. That all the wiring for that is done, and we are continuing to work forward on that. So we're we should be showing some expenditures there and be able to implement some different, working with classification to implement some different informational things for the inmates, and we continue to talk about how we're going to use that. On the next page, the inmate account is around $100,000, and our federal revenue continues to be very, very low. We billed September 1 day and October only $400. So we are working with the county on the budget going forward, but we are not really, we do not have initiatives where we're asking for funding in the budget. On our expenditure budget, here, again, nothing really to report early on in the year. Unless anyone has any questions. Also the revenue budget, the only thing I'll mention here, we do expect to be under budget again. It's going to be very difficult for us to collect our inmate revenues that we have budgeted. Manassas sits right now at 14%, which is quite high. And Manassas will also be paying a portion of the cast iron repair budget or replacement budget. So that's all I have, unless anyone has questions.
Thank you, Carol. Any questions to Carol concerning our budget?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, the pipe thing, is this something that is emergent, or is it something that periodically we look at? Just it sounds like we're in a bit of trouble here with the pipes.
Well, we're not in too bad of a position. They have burst. We have had some bursts. We've moved people around because of the count being so low. So we do are able to keep some areas vacant and kind of move inmates around. We are concerned, obviously, about getting this done quickly, but of course, it's an expensive project, and it's taken a while to get a proper investigation of what actually needs to be done. The good news is the third floor is in good shape, and the underground part, which could have been really quite expensive, is also in good shape. So it's the second and third floors that we need to have done.
So again, then we are reacting to some challenges and failures in that. Okay.
Yes.
And you say a preliminary estimate is about $1 million?
It's about $1 million.
Which is an unbudgeted item.
Correct. And that's why I'm working with accounting to get a figure for the ADC fund balance, what we have available to pull from. I've not gotten that figure yet. And when we get that, then the procedure is to present an agenda item to the BOCS to ask for approval. Which is usually on the consent agenda, and it would be funded through us. So it's not something that they have to find money for.
Got it. They can't give you an immediate amount. I mean, that's a historical record, right? I'm not poking at you. I'm just.
Oh, of the fund balance.
Yes.
Total. I think there are some challenges right now with the accounting system that they're working through. So I suspect that is what the issue is. They moved last year into the cloud, and I think there is a few challenges. So they want to make sure it's accurate. So right now I'm working on the agenda item, and when I have to, when I'm done, I need the number. I'll hopefully have it from them.
I could speak to that. The county did move to a new financial system, and there have been some issues, some hiccups, so verification is very important, making sure that they have transferred all the historical data.
Got it.
So
okay.
it is taking some time with that.
Okay. Okay.
Ron Bailey, the building that we're talking about is over 40 years of use. The main jail, we started operating that building in 1982. So
yeah. Which is kind of the root of my concern here, that the challenges to pipes are not going to get better as time goes by. They're going to get worse rapidly.
On the operating side, on the revenue side, Manassas City at Manassas Park, they contribute differently?
Correct.
And,
Manassas City is an owner, is part owner, so they pay a percentage. Manassas Park pays per inmate, so we send them an invoice every month with the number, and we agree to that, to those people, and they pay accordingly.
So in this case, the city, because it's an owner, that percentage fluctuates, can go up or down. And
Yes,
while the other is kind of fixed per.
yes. But they're paying $87 per day. So they do pay a considerable amount, is what I'm saying, for the number of inmates they have.
But at least it's kind of set, not fluctuating like the percentage.
It fluctuates based on who they bring in. So
They need
sometimes
a
it is.
lot of inmates to
Yes,
to be expensive for them.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you. Ms. Henry, could you reflect the record that Ms. Guzman is now present? Thank you. Any other questions for Carol concerning the budget?
Mr. Chairman, if I can just add to the question of Reverend Bailey, is that, so the county has a finance department. So Carol, she is the finance person for this organization. So there's, welcome to government, there is so many that she doesn't have access directly. So she's limited on the access that she has to the system. And sometimes many of the transactions that she processes go through final approval to the Department of Finance. So that's why she might get information, but it won't be accurate because all of her work relies on the Department of Finance also at the government center. So that's something that we struggle across the board in all localities, and it's frustrating, believe me. Just not being able to know what is your number every day.
I get that. My simple mind, if my wife asks me how much money we have in the bank, here it is.
Exactly.
But if I moved it to the cloud, they said maybe I would have that problem. I'm being facetious, but I do understand.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions for Carol? Thank you. Ms. Pandak, do you have anything for us tonight?
No, sir, I do not.
That is wonderful. Thank you. That's good news. Moving along, dear board members' comments. Ms. Goodman, you were not here. The superintendent is not with us tonight because he's not feeling well. But if you have any questions, you can certainly email them to Sarah, and he will respond to any questions you may have. If you may see something in our packet that you may want to ask questions about, but please give your questions to Sarah. She will.
All right. Yeah, I will start.
And I encourage our board members to look through our packets because it's a lot of information in there about what happens at the Adult Detention Center. And of course, there's a couple of pages I always look at, and the one is on page 18, the security report. And that talks about a lot of things that happen at the facility, disciplinary actions that happen with the inmates and staff. And just a lot of good information that happens about the climate of the facility. A lot of this you can really take from looking at that report. Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question from Ms. Panda? Maybe you can answer, and maybe not. If an inmate believes that he has been discriminated in the treatment that he has received in the jail, what would be the administrative procedure that would be followed for that person to complain? Obviously, it's not outside because it's not employment or housing, or it has to be a different procedure. What would happen?
There's an internal process for making that complaint, and then it would go up through a hierarchy and ultimately would be reviewed by the superintendent.
Would it ever come here?
No,
No. It dies at the superintendent.
the superintendent would make the final decision.
Okay. Other than this internal remedy, would the inmate have to go to the Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Division, or something like that?
Their inmates have in the past filed lawsuits complaining of discrimination. and then that would be heard by the court that they're filed in. Usually they're filed in federal court.
Just
That's been my
information.
experience. That's a general discussion of it. I'm sure I didn't bring the SOPs with me, so I can't cite you to the
I don't know,
exact.
I
but
get
yes, there's
I get in
there's
my
an
office a
internal
number
process.
of relatives of inmates that,
Right.
that wants to file complaints which we don't have jurisdiction over. Uh, and I was wondering, what is the process that is in place?
Thank you. Who's in charge of classification?
Yeah.
Right. Anything planned for the inmates for the holidays? Anything that we need to know about?
We have a partnership we've been doing for the last 4 years called Hopeful Hearts. It might have been in some of the packages, but we bring in Christmas gifts, the big bags that you wrap up for children of inmates that are in the reentry dorm, the drug dorm, male and female, the mine dorm, wind dorm. We might be expanding it to work release and workforce. So inmates that is doing great work, positive jail adjustment, they have kids that they can't provide for, they come in and bring the gifts here, and then we have a day where for like 6 or 7 hours, the family members will come pick up all the gifts for their children. So that's definitely something we've been doing for the last 4 years, I believe.
Good. How about programs? Are we picking up a little bit in programs in COVID?
So we are full-fledged with all our programs because our population has changed a little bit. We have more high-risk people that are staying with us that maybe have full adjustment or higher crimes, so they can't attend programs. But all the programs are basically being offered: our religious services, our Bible studies, the GED programs, reentry programs, work release, workforce. So inmates do have that opportunity as long as they come here, stay out of trouble, positive jail adjustment, they custody level, if they meet the, those requirements, they can attend programs.
So what you're saying is some of those inmates, I guess we call them keep shepherds, correct? That,
Yeah.
right, okay.
Yeah, so of course we have inmates that has co-defendants, some gang situations, sometimes they get in fights while they're incarcerated. So we put keep separates on those individuals, so they're not housed together or they don't program together. So we don't have any problems, inside the jail.
I wanted to, Captain West, talk about, because I know that the jail does that, they've been doing it for the last 4 years. Any question to Captain West about what he just talked about? Yes, ma'am.
Chairman, can we have an update on the re-entry program that we hired Geo Group to manage?
Right. And again, we have
That's
give
true.
those questions to Sarah.
Okay.
Email them to her, and they will get the response back to you. Right.
All right.
Yeah. I actually can answer that question. So Geo is, they just finished, I believe they 1 year is coming up now. So we want to renew the contract. They've been doing an excellent job. They comply with anything that we want. They're teaching 20 classes a week. And we try to get as many inmates inside the program as we possibly can. Sometimes the classes are smaller, but we are satisfied, so with the work they're doing.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions for Captain West? All right, we'll go around. Ms. Clymer, any comments?
No, I was gone last time, so I know that this is old news. I was just glad to see about the GED graduation and also glad to hear about the bilingual instructor being hired.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Reverend Bailey.
Yes, sir. A couple of questions I'll submit via email, but I just put out there what it was. A citizen approached me and asked me 2 questions that I did not know the answer to. One of them was, is it jail policy to strip search inmates after a meeting with lawyers? I don't know. I'll find out.
All
And the other one was about what are the fees for phone calls that inmates have to make. They asked me, so.
All right. Ms. Hannah will have those questions, and the superintendent will respond to it. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Ms. Guzman.
No, I look forward to our expungement clinic this Saturday. We have quite RSVPs. It's going to be held at Casa Welcome Center this Saturday at 10 a.m. We are using different ways to outreach. We are advertising even in the buses with flyers to see what is the response. We put it in social media. It's going to be tomorrow in every newspaper that runs in Prince William County. So we look forward to this Saturday. I want to thank Sheriff, Mr. Chairman, to support that event.
I hadn't heard from you, so I didn't know what you're gonna do.
And
I hadn't heard from
then,
you.
no, that's it. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and thank you for all the work you do.
Thank you. Mr. Torres?
Yeah, again, I'm happy and congratulate you for hiring a valuable teacher that was needed and was vacant for a while. That's something that I really appreciate. And other than that is happy Thanksgiving and happy happy holidays to be correct, and for all of you.
Mr. Costas?
From the courthouse, there was a jury trial this week. An inmate had allegedly assaulted two guards. One case went away, but the other case, the jury found the defendant guilty of assault and battery on a correctional officer. And that was an important win for us because there was some question as to whether jail officers were law enforcement officers, and it was just a good feeling to have a Prince William County jury hear the evidence and come back with a guilty verdict. The defense was represented by the public defender's office. That's right.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
slipped my mind there for a second. But we were very happy to get that win. That's my report.
Thank you, sir. Captain?
Good evening, everyone. I do not have anything from the city.
All right, great, great. Great. Ma'am?
Nothing for me tonight. I'm not going to rise to the date to talk to Mr. Costa.
All right. Chief Phelps, you're here tonight representing the chief.
I am.
Thank you for being with us.
No problem.
You have anything that you can share with us?
Absolutely. We have on December 3rd and the 4th, there is Santa Cops, which is the joint venture with the ADC, Manassas City, Manassas Park, all the law enforcement agencies, where we work with the school system to identify kids who are underprivileged and in need to help them with shopping for Christmas for their families. So December 3rd will be on the east end. December 7th will be on the west end. December 10th. 10th, I'm sorry. On the west end at the Walmart. So it's a great program for a community, especially for those underprivileged kids. It's to see the smiles on their faces, amazing. So great partnerships to be taking part in that. So you'll be seeing a lot of that coming out from, I think, all from the law enforcement agencies as we report out on that. So that's all I have. Happy holidays to everybody.
Only thing I have is thank you for coming tonight, and I wish everyone happy holidays. Could I get a motion to adjourn?
So much.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
All right.
Thank you.